All right, we're back. We are the Critics Collective. I am Legacy Lingo, and I have Iris here with me, and Manny, the not so super fan. And we're going to give you guys a spoiler-free review of Havoc, which just released on Netflix. Okay, now before we do that, though, I want to thank everybody that's been supporting us. You guys have been helping us grow really fast. And if you're new to us and like what we're doing, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the alerts, and join the collective community. Okay, now the synopsis that we have here for per IMDb says after a drug deal has gone wrong, a bruised detective must fight his way through the criminal underworld to rescue a politician's estranged son, unraveling a deep web of corruption and conspiracy that ensnares his entire city. Okay, so we're gonna start with first impressions. First impressions, I want to go first. I actually did not know about this film at all. I came across it as Netflix, one of its pop-ups when I was about to log in saying, hey, this drops in 8 days. And I was like, okay, I see who's in it. I'm going to see what this is about. And that was it for me. I don't watch trailers. I don't want no insight. I stayed away from it until it was available. So that was my initial impression. Iris, how about you? What was your initial impression?
I actually had no idea that this movie existed. Of course, I put reminders on Netflix when new things pop up. That's what I did for myself. So when it came up, I was like, okay, let's see this movie. Let's see how it goes. But I really didn't have any expectations because I had no idea that it was coming.
Well, I think that sometimes that's the best way to watch a movie. How about you, Manny? What was your initial impressions?
Same with you guys. I was just watching Netflix and it came on. And I was excited pretty much when I found out who was directing it, Gareth Evans. And I thought, I was going to get a similar type of formula as far as the Raid and the Raid 2 goes. So, and plus with the cast, Forrest Whitaker, what's his name? Timothy
Olyphant.
And of course, Tom Hardy. So I was pretty excited to see how he was going to do with that cast because a lot of his other film were like unknown.
Right.
So,
yeah, and Timothy Olyphant is actually one of my favorite actors, so I was excited to see him involved as well. Now, a fun fact about this is I was doing my research. This film was actually they shot this in 2021. It was supposed to drop either late 21 or early 22. But what held it up? They had to do a bunch of reshoots. It was so it didn't get released in, and then COVID. And then by the time they decided to start back doing shoots, people's schedule was crazy because you had somebody like Tom Hardy and Timothy Olyphant, heavy in the game. You had Forrest Whitaker, their schedules wouldn't align. And then when they started getting stuff aligned, you had to strike. So after all of those years, here we are now. Finally got it out on Netflix. Let's go ahead and get into our highs and lows. Iris, let me start with you. How'd you feel about this movie?
So honestly, my highs is, of course, I do love Tom Hardy. I do like Timothy Olyphant or Olyphant, whatever the hell his last name is. I do like them as actors, and I love me some Forrest Whitaker, of course. And I would have to say, I think that's really just it because I just really liked the actors. Because I really had no initial impression of this movie, that was the only reason why I watched it because I liked the cast. So I was excited to see, okay, let me see what this one is about. They got some goodies on this one. But I would have to say a lot of the lows for me, it was that some of the shots that were done seemed very CGI, very cartoony. I kind of felt like I was watching video game type pieces, kind of like how they did with Doom. You got into character mode on some parts. That's kind of what it reminded me of, and I felt like there was a little bit too much of that for this movie. It was actually pretty slow moving for me. There was one big, very action-packed scene that kind of drew my attention into the movie. But I found myself on cases like getting distracted and wanting to pull out my phone and watch IG. And I'm like, oh, wait, I got to pay attention to this movie because we're going to review it. And like, honestly, I'm not going to lie. And even though I love Tom Hardy as an actor, I don't know, he gave me like Venom vibes. Like how his character was in that was he was just all over the place and kind of bummy. Um, that's how he was in this one. I was like, do you not know how to change your character up? I've seen you do good in plenty other movies. What's going on? Um, so yeah, I'd have to say I had way more lows for this movie than I did highs. That's for
Mm,
sure.
yeah, and I'm not, I'm not mad at that. I'm looking at the first Venom. He shot that in 2018. They shot this in 2021, and then when was the Venom Let There Be Carnage was 2021. So he might have filmed at the same time. He might have just transferred went from one set to the other. Had that energy when he. And
I
then
was
you might be onto something, Iris. I'm looking at
he
that
couldn't get
now.
out of character.
He
He
couldn't
couldn't
get
get
out of
out.
character.
Hey, like fuck it, I'm gonna just give them all the same
You
thing.
know, and maybe the director was like, "Yeah, no, that's what I want. Like, yeah, could just bring it on over here. Let's put that here." But you
Yeah.
know, that's interesting. Manny, talk to me, man. How you feel about this movie?
Uh, is it a Christmas movie?
It is so takes place during Christmas.
Mm.
But the the action was pretty high for me. You know, like that one scene that I was talking about where the action is happening, where it picks up. You know, actually, you know, seeing people get like leg getting chopped up with a whole meat cleaver, that was pretty interesting. But other than that, it has a few slow moments. You know, where knowing what I know about how Gareth Evans directs certain movies, it's like it should have stayed on that upbeat as far as the action. Even the title, Havoc, I'm expecting, you know, constant action. Even the way it starts off, even though it was a high green screen, but I like the way the camera work was doing with the truck chase at the beginning. But the CG kind of, I would assume because of the whole strike, they wanted to get this done, and they just, you know what, let's just go ahead and green screen the rest of the film.
It's possible.
Mm.
But the whole Tom Hardy, hey, I understand you just did a film, but you transitioning to another one at the same time. But goddamn, man, like the whole, it's not just the whole bummy looking thing, but it's like the same character down on his luck type of situation. I'm just kind of getting tired of that Tom Hardy role kind of situation, you know.
Mhm.
Or I'm just getting tired of those type of character. Period.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
He looked like he stank. Like
yeah.
he would smell like alcohol that's been
Mm,
sitting there for days. Like, and I'm like, why you look like you smell like ass? Like,
mm.
the fuck? Uh,
like it has some good action scene other than the big one, which I liked a lot. It has some good action scene, you know, but mm, I don't really have. It's like
No,
that
I,
was it. Man.
He said,
yeah.
"That's
No,
it."
because at a certain point of the film, I literally grabbed my Nintendo Switch and I was like, and
Oh,
it wasn't there for me.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm pretty much on the exact same boat with you guys. I actually saw this movie, hooray! Because most times I'm on these reviews, I haven't seen anything, and people be judging me. I know, but I actually saw something, right? So I watched this movie, and I I'm just waiting for it to pull me in, waiting for it to pull me. I'm not really paying attention. I'm it's the same as you guys. Um, the CG at the beginning didn't bother me. I noticed there's a few films since a short film came out back in like 2011 and 2013 that did a whole movie like that, and I felt like maybe they were just trying to get that vibe, and so it didn't bother me. I was like, okay, and then it also kind of this movie almost seemed like futuresque, not too far off. So I was like, maybe they're just
Mhm.
trying to keep that vibe. So it didn't really bother me, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't great either. So it could have been a lot, what like Amanda was saying, it could have been things from the strike or whatever, and they were just budget, just let's just get it out. Um, but when that scene that you guys are talking about, when that kicked in, that actually pulled me back in because the action was really popping in that scene. And so I actually basically put my stuff down, turned off the monitor, went ahead and turned up the TV. I was like, hold on, let me actually absorb this because too many times I watch an action movie and I'm complaining like, it's not enough action, or when they give you action, you can't see the action. And so when I was seeing the action here and I was like, oh, oh, Okay, yeah. So it pulled me back in, and it made the experience, in my opinion, seem like it was kind of worth the wait, at least at that point. So then we continue on past that, and you start to get to the finale, which is about to just kick off a whole lot more action. It wasn't that long from that scene to the big finale. It was only like a 10-minute gap. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. But then that action does not deliver on the same level because it's just all gunplay. And there's I think what sold the scene in the scene that we were talking about before was more of the hand to hand with the gunplay combined, and this one was just more of just ridiculous gunplay and people. And I felt like they had casted or the whole police force and all of the henchmen used to be stormtroopers, because I just couldn't imagine how all of those shots and the way people was just not getting hit or having time to duck or just being directly in line of fire, but then everything ricocheting around that person before they even take cover. It started to take me out, and I was like, man, what, these guys stormtroopers in the previous life or what? But so when it finally came down to the end and we got the ending that we got, I was like, oh man, they pulled me in with that one scene, and I had high hopes, and I set myself up because that was it. And so it was disappointing for me. The story itself, I don't mind if the story falls flat if the action is constantly delivering. And I was about to make excuses for it. If we would have kept that same energy from that one big scene that we were all talking about, because I don't want to say when, I want people to go watch themselves and keep watching. But once we got that, I thought we were going to get that same level all the way through, and we didn't. And then that movie immediately, as soon as it ended, it became forgettable for me. And I was like, man, damn, at least I had hope. They gave me a little bit of glimmer of hope. So let's go ahead and rate this. I'm interested to see where you guys go put it. I have a feeling that I'm going to rate it higher than you guys did, but let's go ahead and see. So in Critics Collective fashion, we give accolades here going from 0 to 5. 5 accolades being excellent, a must watch, highly recommended for all viewers. 4 accolades good, worth watching, but has notable flaws. 3 accolades average, some enjoyable moments, but lacks significant impact. 2 accolades below average, some redeeming qualities, but generally disappointing. 1 accolade, poor quality, not recommended. And 0 accolades, horrible, absolute trash. And we have had a few of 2025. Let's see how you guys feel about this one. Iris, how many accolades you giving this one?
I'm giving this one a 2.
Gonna give it a 2, below average.
Yeah.
That's very generous of you.
Like, yeah, I would say it is. It is quite generous, and I won't do any halves this time.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So I would give it 2 accolades because I mean, I think what really saved it a little bit for me was the action scenes. And then, as you mentioned, it got a little stupid. The scenes weren't making sense. So 2, I would say if you ain't got nothing else better to watch and you put this shit on, you know, something you could have it playing in the background. But yeah.
Yeah, I totally respect that. I totally get it. Manny, how do you feel about how many accolades?
I agree with Iris. I'm giving it a 2. Even Forrest Whitaker's acting felt kind of off to me. Like he was like, I'm done with this shit. Just want to get over with. But I expected more out of this. I think I went in with my hopes too high.
That's what happens when they throw faces at you. Certain people, you immediately feel like, oh, this is a real project. We're about to get something, and you're assuming because they decided to come on board that it's going to be at a certain level, and we set ourselves up. Then when you, like you say, the director, what he's capable of.
Not even with the Raid film, like when they came out, I was a big fan of the Raid. Like before it became popular, I used to watch it like illegally, but
right.
Yeah, let's put that out there.
But back in his LimeWire days.
Yeah. But those films were like, really popular. And the way these guys did those action sequence with those film, and it's like, what the hell happened? But
I mean, they did give you a hint of that in that first scene that we were talking about. I started to see glimpses of the Raid and the Raid 2 in that, and I was like, okay, that's what made me stop. I'm like, oh, here we go. Let's go. I'm ready now. But I'm surprised that I thought I was gonna be higher than you guys, but I'm giving it a 2 as well. And the story, I didn't need it to be strong if the action would have delivered, but the action was not enough for me. So it was just a forgettable project. It just wasn't strong for me. And
I think they tried to make it too complicated.
They tried to have layers, but the thing is, there was no, for us as an audience, there was no real conspiracy or big reveal. It was conspiracy to those involved, but we saw everything right from the beginning, and we were just waiting to see how it was played out. So it wasn't even like if you look up this movie, they even got it as a as a conspiracy thriller, like a whodunit mystery. I'm like, no, we know everything and everybody that's involved. We just waiting on y'all to figure it out and see how it plays out. So yeah, all right. So we gave it a 2 overall. I think that's fair. I think that's very generous. Realistically, since I don't plan to ever watch it again. I don't plan to recommend it to anybody. I mean, we've had better projects that we can recommend to play in the background. Well, I mean, if you're gonna have background noise, this is better than Electric State. But anyway, so moving on from that. All right, this Havoc is on Netflix. It dropped on the 25th. You can watch it now. Get in the comments. Let us know after you watch it how many accolades you're going to give it. If you agree, if you disagree, whatnot. We're ready to have those conversations with you. And while you're doing that, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on the alerts, join our collect community, help us grow. And if you really want to support us, watch any one of our reviews, give us 3 minutes, and then let us know in the comments what we could be doing better or what else you'd like us to review. All right. We are the Critics Collective. I'm Legacy Lingo. I have the wonderful Iris here with me and Manny, the not so super fan. And we will see you guys on the next one.